Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is August 23rd, 2022, and today is Tuesday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, the euro tanks and makes new yearly lows. But first, looking at the major economic events of today. So starting out at 9:30 South African time out of the European Union, German manufacturing and flash services numbers coming out. And then at 10:30 South African time, same numbers coming out for the GBP. And then at 3:45 South African time out of the United States, flash services PMI numbers coming out. Now looking at the markets first, starting out with the Forex symbols. The GBP followed the euro lower. Looking at the indices, the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ both tumble. And looking at commodities, gold breaking that support and trading just below it. Oil unchanged. And looking at the stocks, Facebook tumbles while Intel makes new yearly lows. And lastly, Bitcoin continued selling off. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go. We're starting out with the Euro USD at a weekly chart. This is why I'm going first to a weekly. Look at that. This is new lows for the year. 0.9920 this morning as we're trading with the euro. That is over a 400 pip retracement for the Euro USD. Now let's look at a daily chart just to give us perspective here on a daily. Didn't even have to take that much volume to take us to these levels. Kind of shows you that, it's bringing us lower on lighter volume, which is meaning to say that people have already taken their positions here on the low side. So with this happening, we have to only look back to historic lows where we were somewhere in the 0.8-ish level, okay, to see some sort of support and ground for it, as you can see here much clearer. Now looking at the Gbp Usd, also trading lower this morning to 117, especially with this number coming out for the out of Great Britain with the PMI numbers coming out. This may add some weight to the Gbp USD. Looking at USD Japanese yen, did topple off there. Okay, looks like it's topping out at this 137-ish level as well. The Aussie dollar did not break down, so this is showing us some relative strength here. So if the markets do turn around, I expect the Aussie to actually go first. Now looking at commodities, first looking at gold, you see that we're just touching that, we're just really below that Fibonacci support level at 1740-ish level, and we're trading at 1735. So not a big deal, but this may be a catalyst to taking us further. That might have been the dead cat bounce of, giving us a little bit of weight and then taking us lower. So this is something I would be looking to watch later today. Looking at crude oil, not much doing here at $90. Okay, pretty much a par here, settling down. You could see that the downwards trend line has pretty much leveled off here and going into the $90 range. Now looking at the major indices, the Dow Jones tumbling to 32,953 just this morning, tumbling over 150 points. Looking at the NASDAQ, continues to tumble, 12,845. We got to a level of 1373. That's unbelievable on the upside from where we were about 3 weeks ago, where we were trading at 11,000. So you could see that the markets are kind of taking things in terms of where they're standing, in terms of their retracement relative to their ranges. Now looking lastly at the stocks, let's take a look at Facebook first. Look at that. Big gap downs, and sell-off. So, we could see ourselves back in that 150 range. And if we do challenge that once again, we could see ourselves really in new lows for the year. Now, this is kind of disconcerting because when I look at Intel, look at that. We are on new yearly lows for Intel. I mean, if we look at a weekly chart, that gives us perspective of it. Gap down and sell-off. Okay, not much doing there to give us some sort of bump on the upside. And if it means it's selling this far off, well, we're going to have to look at a monthly. And guess what? Let's look at as far back as we can go to the year 2000, when initially this was trading about $60 in the ranges that we are right now. You can't see it in this graph, but we were trading as high as $65 back in 2000, and that retraced quite sharply all the way down to $13. So, I'm not saying that this is going to go to a $13 stock, but it's not looking pretty, especially as it's hovering closer to that 200-day moving average on a monthly chart. So this is really very, very interesting. If this does break it, then going into September, October, we're going to get that crash that everybody was talking about in the market. So this is something to consider as well. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin, did retrace some to 21,000, sold off, but hovering at this area, just really unchanged. So nothing really jumping out for me over here with Bitcoin. So just keep this in mind. We're just trading in a range. You might want to buy. Might get interesting if it dips a little bit below 20K, if it does get that bump. But, you know, if the rest of the markets are selling off, then I expect Bitcoin to do as well. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day.